Welcome, everybody, to episode 214 of The China Show, The Real China Show. It's good to have you here. We got a lot to talk about today.
Shout out to the 214. That's probably some cool area code. And
Sure.
everyone in it right now is like thinking I'm psyoping them right now.
Yeah.
We have a big one today. There's a couple things that have been happening. It's been super windy in China, so we got a lot of wind clips.
A lot of severe weather. Yes.
It's actually a lot of this is related to that, including the thumbnail. Who, by the way, can I shout out chat?
Sure.
A lot of people in chat were like, I'm praying that this is fake. It's not.
No, it's not fake.
That
it's
is
real.
not Photoshop. That is a straight up screenshot from some tons of videos we found.
Yeah, we got a lot of video footage to show you of that incident. But anyway, let's get right into it with what's new. We'll saunter right in. And this is where we talk about what's new, specifically with regards to China. And unfortunately, the first bit of news is quite, what would you say, like annoying, depressing?
Well, it's more than annoying. It's
off-pissing.
It's awful.
Yeah, it really is.
Pissing?
Yes. Something that pisses you off is off-pissing.
Is it?
Yeah,
I've
of
never heard
course.
that before.
Yeah, well, it's
That's
true.
quite off-pissing.
Yeah.
I've heard of off-pudding.
Yes.
Like I'm not eating pudding anymore because I'm...
You're off of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, either way, what you're looking at here was the last, Arabic-style mosque
Yes. It's called the Grand Mosque of Shadian.
in China.
Yeah.
Which is now being completely desecrated, destroyed, and turned into just an average Chinese-looking building.
Yeah. That won't last more than 3 years.
Probably not, but that's not the point. The point is that, people seem to ignore this side of China. And by the way, I don't want to get into any kind of debate about, Muslim, Islam, whatever the case. They do this with everything.
Yes.
Okay, they do this with Christian churches, knock the crosses off the top. Okay,
They do.
but this is the absolute last sort of authentic mosque,
Yeah.
and they've destroyed it to make it look like a Chinese building.
Yes.
And so if anyone ever has the slightest inkling that China respects other cultures and religions, take a look at what they did to this. They basically turned it into a museum.
That's what they do. We've actually gone to many churches that have existed prior in China. We'll go inside and they actually have gutted it and turned it into a museum not about Christianity. It's like a museum about the area or whatever. And this church used to be here and some old photos of it and stuff. And like there's Chinese flags. Remember that?
Yeah, there's always Chinese flags. There's always a picture of Xi Jinping or something, Mao
Mao.
Zedong or
Yeah.
something around there. Yeah, it's kind of, it's disrespectful. It's horrible. And it's incredible the silence you hear across the Muslim world. Because you would think that destroying a mosque like this would cause a little bit of an uproar.
Well, we do know people that are up in arms and Muslim individuals
Yes.
are up in arms about it, but governments are
Yeah.
not.
I
It's
feel
wild.
like if any other country did this, there would be like a jihad.
Yeah, it'd be nuts,
Yeah,
right?
they'd be like calling on like
Yeah, like the extremist
massive
groups
holy
or whatever.
war. Yeah. ISIS and stuff would get involved.
Yeah.
But when China
Wild.
does it, it's crickets. Anyway, just thought we'd bring it to your attention because this shows you the massive double standards when it comes to geopolitics and the international community.
Yeah.
When China does something bad like destroy the environment or destroy religious, buildings and stuff, silence.
They get away with it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
We'll bring it up.
we know what makes it even worse is if you know the Chinese characters. What is written there?
my
Can you tell me what's that?
So they put up a barrier
Yes.
in front of the mosque now. It
Yeah.
used to be like the open square where you
Sure.
go to worship or whatever. This now has the 12 principles of Chinese socialism.
Yes.
So that's there now.
That's what's plastered. If you see those red characters over here,
Yeah.
that's like the Chinese socialist core values, and that's what they put there. It's like, it's a place of worship. No, Chinese socialist core values.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Anyway.
literally salt in the wound.
It's like you can't make it up. It's so bad.
Yes.
But you know what? People forget about this. China will get away with it, and you know what? That's just how it rolls.
Oh, apparently 214 is Texas.
Cool.
Someone's area code.
Very
Shout
nice.
out to the 214 today.
Yeah, nice place. I like Texas.
It's a big state.
Yeah.
You don't know if maybe 214 sucks.
Well, I just went in a restaurant there, and I remember this big sign on the wall. It said, "Tippin' ain't just for cows."
I've seen that in Montana.
Well, I think it probably came from Texas.
I think it probably came from many places.
Yeah, it just
Around
seems very
America.
Texan to me.
Yeah.
You know?
You've clearly not
And
been
people
to
did
Montana.
wear cowboy hats in
You've
Texas.
clearly not been to Montana.
Yeah, I guess they do it there too. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's have a look at this.
Yes, guys, China's an interesting place from the point of view that when you go to visit there, you're like, oh, wow, look at this it's vibrant street food and all that, right? If you're walking in certain areas.
Little did you know it's a covert operation.
Well, little did you know that it's all illegal.
Yes.
It's all illegal. And so when the Chengguang, as they're called, which is the urban management that police type dudes.
It's literally thugs.
Yeah, just thugs. When they roll around, word spreads, and this is what happens to all the street vendors. They're like, holy crap.
We've seen this. This is funny because it's like a whole train of people.
Yeah, it's just like everyone's like, quickly get your food carts out of there before they come confiscated, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a mass exodus. Yeah, exactly. You expect that. Okay, do you want to explain what's going on here? This isn't Washington, D.C., right?
Not really.
No?
I don't want to explain this. This is just a, you know what it is?
What?
It's a douchebag alert. Do we have any douchebag alert sound bites?
I don't know, but I do have something that we could probably do with this.
Okay.
Just give me a second. So, quick thing here. You know, there was this thing called the Korean War.
Yes, I'm aware.
It's kind of never finished. Because,
Yeah,
so, you know,
still going.
Yeah, it's still, you got that 38th parallel.
Yep.
And now, China in recent years has been ramping up this propaganda that somehow the Korean War was this amazing victory for China where
Yes.
China defeated America.
Yes.
It's a bizarre
Well,
storyline.
this is not the first time. Because
Yeah.
think about it. China has done this with World War II.
Yeah.
They defeated the Japanese without any help from the outside, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, not the nationalist Chinese, the communists did it.
Yes.
Even though they didn't fight in the majority of battles.
They only fought in 2 battles, and one of them they didn't really.
Yes, and one of the major reasons that Japan pulled out was because they got nuked
Yep.
by America.
Correct.
That's not in the conversation.
Never.
Same with the Korean War, but the funny thing about the Korean War is this is a recent phenomenon. They're really
Yes.
pushing like Lake Changjing. This
Yeah, they had
propaganda
this
film.
huge propaganda film come out. Yeah.
And they do just laud themselves as the victors of the Korean War. And
Yeah, and
that's
they
what
beat
gained-
America.
Yes, and that's what gained independence for North Korea.
Yeah, that's what they
It's a
think.
Great treasure there.
Yes. So
Come on,
anyway,
North Korea later, by the way.
we had to bring this up and explain the situation because what you have here is a Chinese individual who's traveled to America to go to D.C. and there's there's a Korean War memorial
Yeah.
for the people that lost their lives and stuff. So what does he do?
For American soldiers.
Yeah.
And Korean soldiers.
He plays like communist victory songs or whatever on his phone.
Chinese communist
Yeah, the
victory
Chinese
song, yeah.
communist victory song. I mean,
It's just
talk about like, okay, it's a douchebag move, but it's
on Memorial Day.
yeah, on Memorial Day, and it just shows you the the delusion, you know, and how propaganda works.
Yeah, because again, this is not the fault of Chinese people at this point. This is literally a 1.4 billion people under the rule of the one leadership that constantly shoves this stuff down your throat.
Yeah.
And so you get, rare individuals that have these knee-jerk reactions that go do douchey things like this. It's very annoying.
It's incredibly disrespectful.
also just really lame.
It's lame and in poor taste.
And then to post it.
Yeah.
Is it
And the
going around
problem is to be proud to post
Yes.
it.
Yes.
To say like, look, our Chinese are so strong. One of us snuck in and played a song on a phone, in a memorial.
Yeah. It's no good.
No, it's rubbish.
We don't have to play it out. It goes well.
It's
Playing. I mean, really, can you pause it?
Yeah.
Really, if we isolate this,
yeah.
it's not. I'm not even gonna say disrespectful anymore. It's too dumb because you're pointing music from a crappy, cheap phone to bronze soldiers,
Bronze
like
statues. Yes.
What are they thinking right now? What are
Nothing.
these? No, because it's a statue.
It's a statue.
You wouldn't do this to a. I'd like to see you do this to a real soldier.
Yeah, imagine doing that. Imagine that.
Go walk on base. And
No, this
see
guy's
what
too much of a coward. He had to wait till there was no one around as well. Did you notice there's no one there?
Yeah.
Stupid little coward. Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway, this is a long clip.
You can scroll through it.
Oh, he quickly stopped
No
it.
one is
Maybe he
making it.
probably saw someone coming, so he's like, quickly turn it off, I don't want to get caught, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a freaking coward.
Yeah.
He's a yellow-bellied turd, crawls around on his yellow belly. Okay, anyway, that's what he does. He's a turd wobbling belly crawler. Anyway.
What is yellow belly means cowardly. This was not a racial thing.
No, absolutely not.
You yellow belly coward like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
You brought that up, not me. Here it is,
What?
wind stuff.
Wind? Yeah, I brought up wind
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. So now there's been some serious weather going on in China right now.
Yeah, it's been very windy.
Which led to the thumbnail, by the way. We'll get to that, right?
Yes.
So we thought we'd
I
show
actually could
you.
have connected those two things.
You could
That's
have.
okay.
You're going to see some of the interesting things that have been happening because of the extreme weather.
I call this a warm blanket. He was just getting chilly.
Yeah.
the wind.
Look, here's the thing. We both lived in China for extended periods of time, and southern China experiences these typhoons all the time, right? At least once a year, there'll be a massive one. And something that you should never do is stay outside at an outdoor open air restaurant when it's typhooning.
Yes.
Would you not agree?
Yes.
It's better to not be outside because there's a lot of rickety signs and stuff fly off the buildings, and that type of thing can kill you. So what's
I
going on?
like what by the way, the blanket thing.
Yes.
How, like, who is recording that?
You know that's just going to be a security
Oh,
camera.
it's a security camera.
You can see it's crap quality. It's every building in China has a security camera on it. Every business has their own security cameras, and of course, the government has multitudes of security cameras everywhere. They don't work a lot of the time,
Yes.
but a lot of them do, and so that's why you get this kind of thing. And you wouldn't expect the ground to attack you now, would you?
No.
Of all things, the ground.
Yeah, I would
attacked
actually
them.
think something would come from a building. Or
Yeah,
something,
but the
like
ground
coming off the building.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, you're not going to hold on to those balloons, I'm afraid. There they go. What's going on here?
You know what I noticed about this clip?
What?
You blocked out the whole point of that clip.
Well, okay. What am I supposed
Because
to
we're
do?
sitting over the dog.
Okay. I'll get us out of there. Give us a second. Here we go. All right.
What do you notice? What's the first thing you notice about this clip?
The dog.
Oh, okay. Not me.
What?
I'm looking at the garish golden pillar.
Oh, the golden pillar. Yes. Okay.
Like someone put that up in their house.
Yeah, that's true. What's going on with this? So you got a carport. This is in rural China, by the way.
That's the most generous term I've ever heard for that.
What, a
A
carport?
carport. Because I think of something high tech.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we just call it carport any, like, what would you call it here?
I would call it
lean-to?
I'd call that a brick wall and a
Well,
piece of tarp or something.
See, a carport is usually like a rubbish, just you've got like a corrugated iron roof, or you got, like when you got an apartment complex, and you've got like where the cars parked just under this lame roof. It's not like a garage. That's a carport. Yeah. Anyway, that is no longer a carport.
Like this is interesting.
Okay, what's going on? That's
a bathroom.
Yeah, that's a WC. That's a rural
Toilet.
toilet. And let's see what happens with this rural toilet. Okay. Bye. Okay. Oh, dude's lucky he got out of there. He must. What do you think he did in order to trigger that?
I don't think he did anything. I think that was the build quality.
Yeah, I know. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. He misbalanced the place somehow.
Well,
He dropped a big load or
I
something.
guess. Yeah.
You know when they.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. That's not. He's lucky he got out of there in time. By the way.
Yes.
Yeah. What about this guy? He's just chilling, tying his shoelace or something.
Yeah. He got spanked.
Yeah. Oh, chain. Is that chain okay? I think it's snapped. Oh man, what a waste.
Oh yeah, a bunch of them broke.
Yeah.
It has
just
been
hold on.
windy.
Yeah, I mean, look, you see how crazy this wind is, and I got to tell you, when you're on the ground there, it gets insane.
When you're
And-
on the ground.
Yeah, and the reason is the buildings funnel the wind and channel it. So normally it'd be really bad, but then if you get to a place where there's like a corridor between two buildings, it just amplifies that so much. So you're walking, and suddenly it's like whoosh, you get pushed away. It can get crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, good luck catching that. Oh, almost. Oh, well. Self-driving vehicles,
Perpetual energy.
It's like I'm going to take off is what it says.
Tifei.
Tifei, yeah. Dude, get away from that.
That's terrifying, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Look at that. Tell me you haven't seen that in China.
Oh, I
The
have.
Styrofoam stores.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. It's weird because isn't there a bunch of like typhoons and whatnot going on? I mean, tornadoes and stuff going on here in the U.S. as well.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing.
No, of course, it's just that time of year or
Yeah,
something.
I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah.
the windy season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Anyway, time for your segment, Beyond the Great Firewall. What do you got for us today?
So this is where we talk about things that are going viral on the Chinese internet that you might not see on your side of the internet because everything's blocked in both. China blocks what's coming in and out.
And it blocks what you can see.
Yes.
Yeah.
So recently, there's just been some very funny clips about some food-related things I want to show you.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
All right. Food-related Beyond the Great Firewall stuff.
Can be gross. Could be funny too.
Maybe it can give you some ideas for your Friday night dinner.
Good.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have duck.
I mean, I'll get us out of here. What's going on with
That's
this
actually
dude?
probably goose.
Okay.
I love roasted goose. And you know what? That is so relatable.
Yep.
He opened up the goose sauce, which is almost like a gravy.
Yeah, isn't it sweet though?
Not that. No,
not this one?
That's the gravy, not plum sauce.
All right.
Plum sauce is what you dip.
Yeah.
The sauce
not much
in
of
the
a
bag.
gooseman myself.
Oh, okay. You're not?
I mean, I can eat it.
You can.
Yeah.
Well, I'd hope so. Otherwise, you have problems.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Things.
Yeah. Anyway, so what's
Why do you
going
not
on?
like goose?
It's not amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
Think so?
Chinese roast goose is incredible.
It's okay.
Oh.
I like chao shu. Like when they have that platter and they include a bit of goose, I'll eat it then. But they always have a bit of bone or something in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
don't
it's
eat the bone.
quite sharp. Have you noticed?
You peel off the bottom.
Yeah, but like they like to have a sharp bone in there.
Yeah. That's just how it is.
I think it's designed that way. I think it's
if you get lucky, you'll get a piece without it.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they want it to be sharp, so you can cut a bit of gum, relish a little bit of that blood in there,
I don't know where you're going.
Anyway, let's continue on.
Anyway, so this is relatable because you'll often get soup or sauce in a bag, which is so inconvenient.
It is really weird.
Yeah.
What's really gross is when you go to the wet market and they give you chicken blood in a bag. They give it. It's like
so if you get a chicken, they'll take a live chicken,
Yeah.
they'll throw it in a barrel.
so
It goes.
bad.
It sounds like a laundry machine. It goes boom, 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 boom. If you leave, it's shoes in a dryer.
Yeah, it's shoes in a dryer is what it is. Yeah.
And about 10 seconds later, it comes out totally nude.
Yeah.
Without feathers.
Yeah.
And then somehow you'll end up with blood in a bag.
Yeah, they slit the neck.
They slit the neck and give you the blood in the bag, and that's just kind of par for the course.
Yeah, I guess it's so you can cook it with the blood or
soup
something.
Yeah.
But whatever, it's always grossed me out, and there's always a little bag. Yeah. Ugh. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's this durian?
Yeah.
There's no fruit
no
inside.
meat.
And what's going on here?
I was trying to figure out what this is. She drops this. What is that? Can you tell me, audience? Tell us what this is. Why is she so upset about this? What is it?
Let's see.
Is it food? What is that?
It's
like a pink, like a pink slime.
Yeah, it is. I think that's not the point of that video, but either way, let's move on.
Where are you going with that?
I think it's
Get your head out of the gutter.
No, nonsense. Anyway,
There's
so what's
nothing bad in that video.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
a fully clothed woman.
Sure. What's going on with this?
Oh, so this guy says, I took out audio because there's copyright music. He
Always.
says, if you want swan nai, which is you played it before anyone will understand what happened.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
He says, Beyond the Great Firewall will tell you what things say in Chinese.
Yeah.
He says, if you want swan nai, here, let me go to, because if you want to make swan nai is like a yogurt.
Yeah. If you want to make
a yogurt drink, and you don't have it, then you can
just take milk
and you
put vinegar in it. Vinegar, too. Yeah. And you get.
And then you get swan nai.
That's disgusting. All right. Okay. What's going on here?
Boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Next. Oh my.
That's pretty epic.
Gracious.
Yeah.
She pulled out a snack and a hawk came by and took it.
Let's
This watermelon. Oh, you know how disgusting that must have smelled?
Yeah, that's got to be so
Can you freeze
bad.
frame it on the actual guts of the watermelon?
Yeah, sure. I could try. Let's see.
This is what happens when a watermelon's fully rotten. He's like,
yeah, you
know it
you saw it there.
Must have smelled like, I don't know, real bad.
Like a rotten watermelon.
Like a rotten watermelon, if you've smelled such a thing.
Yep. Okay, here we have shown this clip before.
Oh, we have?
Yes, we have.
Interesting. It was in this group of viral
clip.
clips
Yeah,
right now.
maybe you haven't seen this before, but we did show it at one point. You got these guys just chilling in a hot pot restaurant eating, and bam, 2 rats fall down on this guy's
Double
head.
rat. First, I only saw one.
And then one gets in his hoodie. The other one runs across.
Yeah, it does. It goes in his hoodie.
That's not what you want when you're eating dinner in a
I just
restaurant.
I want to watch the other guy this time. It's worth looking at twice. Now I have to watch gross watermelon.
Yeah, gross watermelon. Yeah. So it's like,
Fires at the hut. Bam, bam! 2 rats, double rat. Oh, in the hoodie. Oh my goodness.
Not what you want.
Especially not when you're eating.
Do you think they finished their dinner?
I wouldn't. Would you? Actually, yeah,
I have.
Yeah. I've been touched by a rat in a Chinese restaurant before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ran over my shoes.
I was in like a pretty gross restaurant and I saw, like a rat, but with its babies, like, it's like a train. And you hate that?
Gross. I hate rats.
So it go up a pipe and a whole bunch of people screamed.
I'm not scared of them. I just think they're disgusting.
Yeah, and then I just kept eating. It's like, whatever. I mean,
Well, we've still told this a million times, but this barbecue restaurant, I always used to meet this guy I think he was from Ghana.
Yeah.
And we used to meet once a week. We would meet for barbecue at this little barbecue place and drink beer. And we always loved to get the roast pigeon, the pigeon. We can dove, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it looked like a crucified animal.
Sure.
On this stick that they would roast over the coals, and then they got shut down a few weeks later because it was freaking rad.
Yeah.
Well, and I used to watch them killing the rats with brooms while I was eating. So yeah, I was never scared out of the restaurant.
Yeah, it's interesting that's how it works. I actually ate rat, remember?
On purpose, yeah. I ate it by accident.
At that stupid restaurant where they had all these gross things. Yeah. That restaurant was terrible. Honestly, if there was not one thing on the menu that was edible, really. Everything was just weird. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a documentary just before I left China. It's called Stay Awesome China. You can go watch it on my channel. And I ate the most bizarre things at this restaurant in Guangzhou. Anyway, so you got a lot of peppers. Oh, let's vacuum it off. And oops, there goes a whole egg.
No, go back to that. The funniest part of that
is what? What is the funniest part?
This is white pepper.
Yeah.
The funniest part is not that he vacuumed the egg. It's that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's that the only thing left is the pepper.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
You didn't vacuum.
You didn't actually get the pepper. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll get us out of here. So this dude's doing the ketchup trick.
Bro got covered in ketchup.
Ah, yes. And for those of you who don't know what all those yellow characters are, it's ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it just says ha 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 over and over again in your face because you have to be told when to laugh.
Yes, you do. I got a good Slopaganda coming up, but before that, we'd love to give a shout out to AG1. And, I drink my AG1 every day. It's fantastic. It does a lot of good.
Yes. Taking care of your health isn't always easy, but it should at least be simple. That's why for the last 2 years, we've been drinking AG1 every day, no exceptions. It's just one scoop, mixed in water once a day, every day, and it makes me feel energized, focused, nourished, strong, ready to take on the day. That's because each serving of AG1 delivers my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, and more. It's fantastically easy. It's the easiest habit you can get into. Takes seconds.
Yep.
Mix a scoop in there. We noticed that we are starting to feel a little bit down. No, I'm not talking about like upset or something. I'm talking about running out of energy.
Yep.
You're starting to drink AG1. You will notice pretty quickly that you have that energy back. You can do things after work. You can go on your, hike or go running or do what you need to do, play with your kids, right?
Yeah.
All those things that we were lacking, that energy we were lacking, we got it back with AG1. It's fantastic.
Yep.
So if you want to take ownership of your health, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/ADV. That's drinkag1.com/ADV. Check it out.
Absolutely. Thank you once again to AG1. Now, guys, we're going to look at this week's Slopaganda. And, let me get us out of here for a second. I'm going to fast forward to it. Okay. Slopaganda is my favorite part of the show, and this is where we look at China's outward propaganda. This is the stuff that they put out there for us to see, right? And lately they've been trying to put out this image that China's, doing all these amazing things to help with sustainable fishing and things like that, because everybody knows that China's the worst culprit when it comes to unsustainable fishing. They go out there and they go to the Galapagos Islands, for instance, and kill all the endangered species en masse. And they wait until nighttime, turn off the transponders on the ships and go into protected waters and catch, hammerhead sharks or whatever. And then, it's...
What do you do with a hammerhead shark?
Take the fin.
Oh, okay. You don't use it for construction?
No, absolutely not. No, it's pretty bad, the stuff they do. And they've outfished all of the seas around China to the point where it's just decimated. That's why they have to send these massive fleets to the coasts of Africa and
like why else
South
would
America.
Why else would you do it?
They've got it's like an army. It's a militia. It's huge, and it's like a floating city that goes around. And the worst part about it is they can stay out there forever, because what they do is they fish. They're just like on an industrial scale, fishing the seas dry. And then they send like supply ships that come out there and get their haul to take back to China so they can continue to fish. So they don't even need to fish, like go back to China. So it's like this unstoppable machine. It's terrible. Anyway, it's depressing when you look into it. I've done a couple of videos about it. It really annoys me. And it annoys me that not enough people are paying attention to it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so because they're trying to like combat this image of them like basically destroying the seas, they got CCP Milk to do a little piece about...
CCP Milk has returned. If you don't know, CCP Milk is the Chinese propaganda version of me.
Correct.
But he's British.
Yes. Yeah. So let's take a look at what he had to do here today. I'll get us out of here. So here we go.
We're in Linjiang County of Fuzhou, famous in China for its abalone. In fact, 1/3 of China's abalone comes from right here. Let's go and take a look and see how things are going today.
Oh, the pain of existence.
Next, we're going to delve deeper into the sea to check out a cruise liner developed for abalone.
What in the bloody Sam Ducket is that? That is not a cruise liner. That rusty piece of rubbish. Just bloody wonderful. Good thing I got a tetanus shot before coming here. Even I have to admit this is really fishy. They keep interspersing B-roll of this lovely white, beautiful looking facility, but I'm here on the ground and it's a rusty piece of crap.
It really is. It really do be like that sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to point this out. It's very short and sweet this week. But it's about like how they're basically farming abalone instead of just, poaching it from South Africa or whatever, which, by the way, is a real thing. In South Africa, they keep catching, people that come from China that actually hire people locally to steal it, and then they bust them in Chinatown with huge amounts of abalone in their backyard or whatever.
Yeah, I actually watched a documentary. I think Vice did it, where they went to some Cape communities where the people were... locals were doing it on behalf of China.
Yeah, because there's so much demand from China.
There's a lot of money, yeah.
So anyway, this is about them.
Can you pause it on the disappointment motivational poster? I just want to show how much we look alike. Like, this guy is my long lost twin. And it's so weird that I do anti-CCP stuff and he does pro-CCP stuff. It's wild.
It is wild, but he
Make me big real quick.
Okay.
Oh, no, then
I can. Yeah, there. You gotta like... No, you
have to do like
you have to look like you're in pain. That nothing's ever worked out in your life, and you're just like, I'm sorry.
We do look alike, though.
Yeah, you guys do look like
crazy.
It's crazy.
I'm not even British.
Yeah, the problem is that he honestly looks like, I don't know, depressed or something.
I think, this is why I've never really gone... I'm not going to go after any of the shows, but like I made a whole video about me and him.
Yeah.
And I just took the piss. It's a big joke. But I've never been harsh to him, and I'll tell you why.
You can see the sadness behind his eyes.
Number one, we look alike, so I feel bad. I feel like we're probably related in some way. Yeah. Number two, I really don't think he wants to do this.
No, it doesn't look like it, right?
I think he's doing some sort of internship, and I think he's super, super bummed out with how things have gone. Because in his mind, he's probably like, I'm going to do this news thing, and I'll transfer to something else. And he's definitely likes the limelight. He definitely wants the microphone. Yeah. And he just gets stomped on with these stupid reports. Yeah. And you can tell he just doesn't take it seriously. No. He doesn't want to be there.
Of course not.
Yeah. He's on a rusty ship.
Yeah, that's one of the main things I wanted to point out here.
Next, we're going to delve deeper into the sea to check out a cruise liner developed for abalone.
So a cruise liner developed for abalone. Okay, that's where he's supposed to go. Now you can see it. They actually have it there behind him.
Yes.
Yeah. If you turn that way, what if I make you big a little bit? Yeah, turn a little bit more towards this side. Yeah. It's just you basically.
It is.
So
he's a little paler than me.
Yeah, he's a little paler.
It's because I'm
And it looks like he's in pain.
Yes.
Always, you know what I mean? Like he's got a stomach ulcer or something, you know what I mean?
Yes, he does. Or he's got like
Something wrong with his
diarrhea
pancreas or something, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the fact...
hemorrhoids or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy.
Take a look at that structure, okay, behind him. Now, that's where they do like some farming of abalone or whatever on this structure. But in this exact video, they kept interspersing B-roll of that exact structure, obviously when it was just completed. So it looked nice and brand new. But it shows you how sloppy their propaganda is, because it can't be very old and it already looks like a rusty wreck of garbage, right?
Crisco says $10 says that vest doesn't even flow.
Yes.
That is a good theory there.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a good theory there is that they
bloody-
cloned me before I left.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they actually mobilized my clone, but they couldn't do it to you before you left.
Yeah,
Sam
that's true. I
Duckett
couldn't
is
get
that.
this.
Couldn't get the DNA.
That is
Yeah.
not a cruise liner. That rusty piece of rubbish. Just blood.
I mean, seriously, look at that thing. I know that like any structure in the sea is going to be prone to serious corrosion, but you can keep it at bay if you actually maintain it.
Yes.
And this also plays into what we're going to show you a little bit later. When it comes to
does.
maintenance, China's probably one of the worst countries in the world.
Yeah.
Very good at building something nice and new,
Yeah.
not necessarily good quality, but nice and flashy and new.
Yeah.
But then never maintaining it.
Yes.
Just like this, whatever this cruise liner for abalone is.
Wonderful. Good thing I got a tetanus shot before
I mean, look at how
coming here.
rusty everything is.
I really feel bad for CCP Milk.
Yeah, look at his face. He really is like,
I'm
ew.
being genuine. Like, I'm not taking the piss. Like, I actually feel bad for him. And again, I really think it's because we look alike.
Probably.
I really feel bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I love you, brother. Come back home. Come home.
I mean, look at the look on his face, because you're a reporter. You're being filmed, okay? And you're supposed to be looking impressed by this. And
Well, how can you look impressed? Look at what you're looking at. Again, I'm taking his side here.
it honestly looks
Look
like...
at what you're looking at.
Yeah, it looks like he's looking at a steaming dog turd or something.
It
like that.
is.
He's like,
It's
ew.
worse.
Ew, what is that, you know?
Imagine this.
Yeah.
I go to journalism school. I learn fluent Chinese. This
Yeah.
guy is talented.
Yeah, he's got great Chinese, yeah.
He goes, he gets job at state media. He's going to transition to something else.
He's going to be a cultural ambassador.
Cultural ambassador, whatever. Maybe
Yeah.
it's a stopgap. Maybe
Yeah,
he's going to
yeah.
work at New York Times after
Sure,
or BBC,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
That's the dream of a lot of these British guys I mean, is they want to do BBC, so they do these gigs.
Yep.
And you're on a rusty flotilla
Yes.
talking about abalone, and you don't give a shit.
No, and it's a disgusting rusty flotilla.
And not only is it a disgusting rusty flotilla, the whole thing is a lie.
Yes.
And you know it's
Yeah,
a lie.
yeah, exactly.
You know none of this is real.
Yeah, exactly.
Even I have to admit this is really fishy. They keep interspersing B-roll.
So you see, this is the B-roll that they cut in this exact same propaganda clip.
Yes.
Look, that's honestly when it had just been released. Probably like a week after, and they filmed this. Right? It's got to be, because look, the paint's still fresh. And I love how there's a Chinese flag up there, just in case you were wondering.
Is this contested waters?
Yeah, because it's just off the coast of Fujian or whatever. And
That's
they're
not
like,
even close to any other country.
No, it's not. It's
Like,
just- well, maybe
lovely
Taiwan.
water.
Taiwan.
Yeah. I mean, all of this is the B-roll that they were using.
White,
Okay? It's nice and
beautiful
white.
looking facility.
See, the flyover looks all nice and clean.
But I'm
So
here on the
cold
ground,
steel.
and it's a
Yeah,
rusty
so
piece
cold
of
steel.
crap.
No, we have sea milk at home already. Sea milk at home.
Yeah. And look, they're walking through it. Every piece of that thing is rusted now.
Yes.
And look at the two together. Note that even there's like a little wind vane propeller thing
Yeah,
up there.
that doesn't even work.
Yeah. It's even that stopped working, no longer works. You know what I mean? Everything about it is busted.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
What a sad report.
It's a sad report, and it's also nonsense how they try to trick people by showing them something from a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is.
It's like, dude, it's like if you crashed your car or something and it's a wreck, right?
Yes.
But then you keep showing photos of your car before it was a wreck, saying,
Yes.
"I've got such a cool car. Look at my car."
Yes.
But your car's actually doesn't run anymore.
Yes.
Yeah,
By the way,
Yeah.
open invite for not only CCP Milk, Sam Duckett,
yeah.
John
What the
T.
Sam Duckett is this?
all these guys. Actually,
Yeah.
those are the only two that I might want to do
Yeah,
an interview
yeah.
with. The open interview for you two guys, because if you want to come on our show and tell us like all the stuff they made you do, and we'll listen to your story and we'll promote any social media you have.
Sure.
We're happy to hear your story. It's an open invite.
Absolutely.
John T.
And Sam Duckett.
Who's John T?
Oh yeah.
Great.
and Sam Duckett, which we don't have a soundbite for. Those are really the only two shills that I want to talk to.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really crossed the line.
Not necessarily. No, they haven't done like Xinjiang genocide denial.
Neither of them.
Like
have,
Rick
so.
has.
Yeah.
Because I would have said Rick, but no, he's
Not anymore. Rick's gone down the dark.
He's gone. We got some new
Rick is
stuff. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's like the emperor or whatever.
You got to play him now.
Oh yeah, you know.
What's his most
Wow,
emperor?
so good.
Oh yeah, see, he's promoting the darkness. Did you
That's
see
a
that?
little too much for me.
Yeah, exactly.
We used to think he was fine.
Yeah, I think he was at some point.
Yeah.
All right, so it's time for us to hit our soft power hour, guys. This is where we talk about everything that's going on in China and how they're trying to change your mind. Now, this flash storm happened in Beijing. You know, we were showing the winds earlier and all that sort of thing, and then this footage emerged online. I'll show you here.
There's a lot of it. We got tons.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you're familiar with the Pants building.
Yeah,
It's the CCTV building.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah. We've been there.
Kind of weird that we've been to the CCTV building and now we criticize CCTV.
Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah.
It's just interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. So, as you can see, they kind of got little buckets with them and stuff. Okay. And now, according to the people that were posting this online, these were window washers that were blown off of the building because of the storm. Yeah.
Just picture, I think we need context to see how high up they are.
Yeah, because look, they got the little cleaning
Yeah,
buckets.
I mean, to me, that's what it is. There is some debate. Look at this.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. Of course, people came out and said, "Oh no, it's the PLA doing a military exercise." But riddle me this: why would you be doing that in like that kind of nasty? Well, they didn't know the weather would be nasty, but why would you be doing that at CCTV?
It makes hella good footage.
I suppose. Yeah. Either way, it's dumb.
I mean, it is a media building. CCTV is state media.
True.
You can see both sides.
Yeah, it could be both sides. So.
That's terrifying.
The people filming it said that they were window washers, and then people online are like, "No, it's a military exercise." Either way, it's dumb and it's stupidly executed. You shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not dumb that they got blown off.
No, of course not, and it is just terrifying.
Look at the lone dude. He's like the original man.
Yeah.
That's so scary.
That's super scary. The reason why I'm more inclined to believe they're window washers is because I've seen a lot of window washers in China.
Yes, we both have. Yeah.
And all buildings have window washers, and they come down, especially these
super
government
haphazard.
buildings. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the government buildings like this one, they have to stay clean. And with the bad air quality in Beijing, they get dirty very quick. So they're very common to see them on the buildings.
Spot of whiff-waff, old chap.
Oh, what's going on? I think you overlapped something here.
What the heck?
Yeah, I think you overlapped something in the media pack. I'll just mute that.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, there's an extra. It's just there. It's there and then the next clip.
Okay.
It'll be relevant soon, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the footage that's been coming out. Now, we thought we'd show you some real window washers. Now, as you can see, those guys all had buckets, and this is, again...
Whip.
Yeah, whiff-waff. You'll see.
Like, what the...
You'll find out about whiff-waff in a little bit. But the reason why I'm more or less convinced those were window washers that were blown off is because, look, here's a window washer, and he also has a bucket, just like those
What do you guys think? Chat. What do you guys think? You think
I mean, unless you think it's a PLA tactical bucket.
It could be.
Yeah, because their equipment is so bad that they can't have like a webbing or something, that they have to have a freaking pail. What is this? There's a hole in my bucket,
Dear Liza.
Yeah, exactly. Dear Xi Jinping, there's a hole in my bucket. Give me some proper equipment.
But no, they just get blown off.
Yeah, it's like, I'm being blown off a building by a freak storm with a freaking bucket of cleaning materials.
Why are you talking to me like I'm posing the thing? It's PLA. I think it's window washers too.
It's absolutely window washers.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I was positing, putting it out there that there people are positing this.
There's this phenomenon whenever China's caught out, like there's something crazy, like a clip going around showing how bad things are organized in China.
Yes.
Because this is a bad organization. If you know there's a big storm coming, you don't let the window washers on the building, right?
No, absolutely correct.
So, whenever that looks like a bad decision has been made or a lack of planning, people come up with these fantasies because they want to say, no, China's got it switched on. They know what they're doing. No, that was just a military exercise. They wanted to test.
So you said riddle me this, riddle me that.
What?
Okay.
What?
Not to be devil's advocate here, but let's say I'm a Wumao, and I'm like, no, that's military exercises. Wouldn't that make China look way dumber? Is that their military got blown off a building and they're flipping around with pails?
Yeah, I mean, not in
stupid.
their mind. In their mind, they're probably like, no, the PLA needs to learn how to train under adverse circumstances.
And not on the side of a mountain or whatever.
Yeah, not in actual situations, but hanging from the
building.
pants building in the middle, which you wouldn't really need to. You know what I mean? In a storm with a bucket of cleaning materials.
You don't know what's in that bucket.
It's definitely like a sponge.
All I'm saying is that to me that would make the PLA look dumb.
Yes, either way.
In the wind, like a kite.
Either way, yeah. So we thought we'd show you some window washers, how it works in China, because it's actually kind of scary.
It's mad scary.
Okay, so I'll maybe get us out of here quickly.
Sure, yeah. But look, I mean, these people are up, and they're on these normal ass
Yeah, you see,
ropes.
look, there they are with their buckets. Yeah. So, again, anyone who thinks it's PLA...
Let's drop the argument, because we both agree it's window washers.
It's just window washers, okay? Window washers being blown off because of a so-called freak storm, because... So-called freak storm, because apparently China's weather service is so bad that they cannot predict that there'll be a storm.
It's not bad. It's bad on purpose. Just like they don't allow it to go over a certain temperature, like 38 degrees on the news, because then legally people don't have to go to work.
Yes.
So they always make it lower.
Yeah, that's true.
They say that the storm wasn't that bad. That 10,000 people die in a tunnel, and they'll say it was 6.
Yeah,
right.
That's
So
this is very true.
You know.
Yeah, because think about it. This is a dangerous job. You've got
Don't
people,
storm shame.
Yeah, you've got people going to dangle from like ropes from a massively high building to wash. Oops, nice, good job.
Sorry about that.
To wash some windows, and you're like, there's a massive.
I'm not a window washer.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
There's like a massive storm coming in. You're like, yeah, it's a good idea. Send them down anyway.
Yes.
Also, it's going to rain, so why are you window washing at that point anyway?
True.
But yeah, it's because of the lack of planning that people made up this PLA narrative. Okay, so here you got the window washers with their bucket. Okay, now take a look. We're looking at how they get fastened up here, and it was like, oh, get us out of here.
This is wild.
Yeah, it's not cool. So, hang on. Wait, you doing a scrubbity scrub? What's going on here? Okay, there we go. See, these pins are just put into holes in the wall. Okay, they're not even like expanded or anything. They're just stuck in there, and I guess it's just mechanical retentions holding it in.
That's horrifying.
I wouldn't do that, dude.
Did you see that?
Yeah. It's like 3 little bolts in a tofu drake building. You better hope that cinder block or whatever, or that piece of concrete wall's safe.
So you think this is a window washer, but this is where you'd be wrong.
What is it, a window scraper?
This is a window scraper because of overspray on the building.
Yeah. I mean, I'd still call that window washing.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
This is overspray from painting the building.
Yeah, painting that pipe or something.
Yeah, the pipe, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's just... Yeah, ever hear about masking things off before spraying it? No.
No, here's some more footage.
Now you see, there they are busy washing the windows. Yeah. Look, those are totally freaking window washers.
This is why I put this later on purpose.
Yeah.
So we could have this debate, because there were literally people.
Yeah, people saying it's PLA. So remember, whenever there's eclipse, there'll always be some like huge psyop effort to try and explain it away.
You know what's weird,
explain
though?
it away. What?
This like originally has been going around like a foible, right? But now it's being turned into propaganda. It's like, look how like hardworking the window washers are, which is fine, right? But it's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, you saw that. I mean, that is a different day.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, dude.
Right.
It's the same harnesses, the same buckets.
I agree. I'm just
PLA's
saying.
not got their tactical washing bucket.
They love their tactical washing bucket.
Yeah. They're like, oh, just send them into battle with a freaking pail of water and a sponge and a squeegee.
You better run up. The enemy's dirty.
They run up to the American tank and they're like, can I wash your window for some change? You know, what's going on?
I guess it's like homeless people that
exactly.
try to wash your window.
Yeah,
that's South Africa, right?
All the time. Yeah. It's super annoying, dude. It's so annoying because when you've like really just washed your car, and they're aggressive about it. They'll come up and they'll have like a bottle, like an old Coke bottle or something, and they've got like a soapy liquid. But they're like, before you can even get away, they like spray it so it splashes all over you. But then you got a nice clean car. And now they've just messed it up, and they come put their muddy junk on there, and you're like, oh man,
that sucks.
Yeah, they're very aggressive.
Let's get back to this.
Sure.
Somebody said it's a tactical barf bucket.
Oh yes.
You're just getting like sick. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's
you just let it rip if you're up there.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it's a great idea on a stormy day. There's the building, the Pants building.
Yeah,
that's
ridiculous
very famous.
Building. Kind of cool. Kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, but very famous building.
That one's ugly.
Yeah,
behind it, that spaceship egg thing.
Yeah, it's not great. I wonder what foreigner designed it.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, that's something people don't seem to realize is that these big buildings in Beijing and Shanghai, etc., they're 99% designed by foreign architectural firms. So blame the foreigners for those ugly buildings, not the Chinese people.
That's true.
It's not their fault.
There's some very ugly buildings.
Yes. Super. Anyway, yeah, I guess we're showing just this whole windy season's caught a lot of people off guard, especially window washers.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we got here? This is just showing window washers again in their natural habitat.
Yes.
This is the
Wash your
pearl.
windows. This is the Oriental Pearl Tower.
Yes.
In Shanghai.
Yeah.
I just was kind of shocked. I don't know where the photo next to it went, by the way, but I was kind of shocked at the, from a distance, you've seen this, you look up a skyline of Shanghai, like in Pudong,
Yeah.
you'll see this, but it's just so up close. It looks so bad.
You know why? Because there's a lack of maintenance.
Yeah.
Again, that is, if like let's take a look at that. When you see it from afar, it looks fine.
Yeah, no, like from far away.
This is just literally weathering and corrosion, and that can easily be fixed.
Yeah.
Okay, all you need to do is a bit of Scotch-Brite and it's done. Okay, obviously not that easy, but the thing is, it's super easy to maintain this kind of thing, but because people don't really see it, they don't care, and there's something you'll find a lot in in Chinese society is like 差不多也行, which means it's just okay. You know what I mean? Good enough. Good enough is okay. Yeah. I mean, it kind of looks shoddy all around. Now, this I filmed myself, and I just wanted to show you this idea of how people get up and down buildings. So in China, especially southern China, air conditioners are a must.
He's putting a lot of trust in that air conditioner.
Well, yeah, those brackets, because it's literally just he's sitting on top of those tiny little brackets. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, because that's, yeah. Anyway, so what's happening here, you can see the rope is slack, so he's putting his entire weight on there. He's got one safety rope attached to him, but it's not actually safe. It's just tied around the waist of the guy that's standing up there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, and I've seen them do this because, they did it at my house and so on. And then I filmed this. I was walking down near where I lived. If you take a look, he's going to climb up in a minute and you'll see the amount of trust they put on like very jank safety equipment.
That's so scary.
Yeah, you need these split unit air conditioners are amazing though. They work very well.
They do.
Yeah, and they're all over southern China. So let's see, does he even have a proper safety harness on? I mean,
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it looks like he does. He's got a harness.
He's got another rope dangling.
Yeah,
down
that's how he's going to get up. Like 9 times out of 10, when they've come to do it in my apartment building and they climb out, they just tie it around their waist. They don't even have a harness.
Yeah.
Let's take a look how he gets up. All right, so he's got that. Now, I'd also like you to notice, the main safety rope that he's actually attached to. It's a rope tied to another rope. Look, it's not one continuous rope. If you look at the guy who's pulling it up now, it's white and then it becomes orange. So it's like a rope tied to a rope. And that's not the most safe thing. It's not one continuous rope. That's what was holding him up. But this is the kind of thing that you see often. When it comes to workplace safety and stuff, China's very lacking, you could say. You know what I mean? Also, you would think a window washer, you'd have like one of those kind of things that move up and down. What a gantry, what's that thing called? It's like a little...
Yeah, that thing.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's like cherry picker thing.
Well, yeah, it's like a platform, moving platform goes up and down. But no, they just hang on a string with a bucket.
I'll tell you what. They do have those platforms.
Yeah,
I've
you
seen
see them
way
fly
too
around.
Many videos full of those things falling down. So.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so what are you showing us here?
So along the same lines, right?
Okay.
You have the dangling people, the crazy stuff, right? You also have a situation where the oversight is so poor in China that they'll rush something out. They'll go onto the news. They'll go onto their propaganda outlets. They'll even talk to foreign news, like American news outlets will even run with this sometimes. Say, look at, for all of China's human rights abuses and all the bad things that they do, we don't agree with their government, but at least they get stuff done.
Yeah, you
They
hear
get it
that a
done
lot.
fast and they do it well, right?
Yeah.
Hardworking.
Sure.
And we get so mad at that because we've seen what that means. Yes, things get done quickly.
Yes.
Because of massive, huge government projects and a central government that can chuck money at anything with a fire hose.
Yeah.
But it's almost always terrible.
Yes. It's
Let's have a
rushed
look.
out. So
this is a beautiful set of tunnels that was completed in Chongqing in just 800 days by a team of more than 100 builders.
good old Chongqing, huh? Let's see. And this is what you see, right? This is... Okay. All right, yeah. And you can see the result. How long was that ago? 3 years ago?
Yes, Tuju Tunnel. So the puff
Yeah.
pieces came out about 3 years ago. They're like, look at how quickly we made this.
Yeah, it's
The Chinese
amazing. It's
government rules.
efficient. It's great. Look how quickly we built it.
Do you want to go through a mountain tunnel that is spraying water everywhere?
No, take a look. See? It's leaking there. There.
It's leaking all over.
That's a nightmare. That looks like it's about to collapse.
Well, you know what the scariest thing is?
What?
We have video of this actually happening in the tunnels.
Yeah,
This-
collapsing.
This has happened.
It has happened.
Filled with water.
Yeah, I mean, we have footage of, like, in 5 minutes, a massive tunnel filled up, and,
You know what's wild?
countless people died in that tunnel.
You know what's wild?
What?
So they'll get opinion. It's not like big news outlets won't run with this, but like an opinion piece might pop up on like any big news outlet, right?
Yeah, sorry, 1 second. Just want to get it onto the... where you can actually see the water coming out. Yeah.
Or it'll be on a feed, like a news feed or something. Or it'll get shared around on social media. That's the biggest culprit.
Yes.
10 million, 100
That's all
million
these
views on Twitter.
Annoying Twitter propagandists will be like, see, China builds in lightning speed. Look what they built, this amazing tunnel. And then they'll say, it's taken US like so many years to build this.
But Twitter, Elon's gotten rid of the state media affiliated tags. So
Yeah.
these posts will get 100 million views or something.
yeah, they get shared around. People are like, oh, wow, look, China built a tunnel.
And no one knows it's propaganda.
Yeah.
And then there's no one, like people post this to get like 100 views or something.
Yeah, because
right?
the thing is, they'll see the initial like
Yeah.
shiny new tunnel
Yeah.
propaganda, but they'll never see the, oh, look, it actually just failed after 3 years and it's flooding and it's a piece of garbage.
Yes, and one thing I want you guys to have some perspective of, with the sheer control the Chinese government has over the media,
Yeah.
this is the one video that got out. Do you
Yeah.
know how often this is happening across
All
the
the
country with mega projects?
Yeah.
The whole thing is dire, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we've exposed it in the past, but bridges falling down, cracks
Yep.
forming in buildings, all sorts of terrible things, entire buildings falling down.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is just one, right? You got more than one of these types of
Yeah.
things. Okay, so that's
Just the cold
scary.
reality.
Yeah,
Super scary. And where's the apologists now? Like, why
Yeah.
don't you comment on this? This is devastating.
yeah. Okay, so what are we looking at
The
now?
5 new stations on the route are basically this is a Beijing to Hebei train
Yes.
line.
Yes.
Which they rushed to complete because it was going to mobilize so many people. And again, this was lauded by people all around the world.
They always do.
Say what you want about the Chinese government, but damn it, they get things done.
Oh
right?
yeah, it's like you know what I've seen going around lately is
What?
this picture of like China in 2000 whatever 2004 or something, and then next to it 2024 with the rail lines. It's like
Yes.
a couple and then like a whole lot.
Yes.
You've seen that go around. You know, just building a lot of something doesn't mean it's good.
No.
Does that make sense?
It oftentimes means it's bad.
Yeah, if you're producing a lot of one thing, yeah, I mean quality over quantity, you know?
Yes.
In this case, it's just quantity over quality. Just because there's a lot of something doesn't mean it's good.
Yes.
If you look at the amount of rails and the debt that a lot of those stations are, and some of them are closing down now, and
gosh.
it's a mess. But anyway, let's take a look at
the
this.
5 new stations that are going to get us out there
Yeah.
on the route are basically completed, getting ready for the opening by the end of 2022. It's chill music.
Yeah, it's
pretty
nice.
chill.
Look at this station, you see.
And again,
is
this will get shared around, get 100 million views or whatever. 10
beautiful,
million views
great,
or whatever.
great, amazing station.
Yeah, like look how quickly China.
Look at that
mobilizes.
station.
This is Tangshan, Hebei.
Yes.
This is the one in question.
That's the station.
Oh,
我操！
just opened, by the way.
Yeah, just opened.
哎呀！
I mean, you know, that's what you get if you.
操！
That's what you get. You can build something flashy and new, but if it's not built well,
Yes.
or if it's not maintained, it is going to just fall apart.
And here's the deal. And it rained inside in the Changsha one and
Yeah,
the, and the
remember?
Hunan one.
Yeah.
It's like, I just don't know how many times we got to show this. It's almost like every week something like this is
Yeah.
happening. And this is, by the way, this is serving tens of millions of people. This is not like a backwater port.
No.
This is like a main ass station.
Yes, exactly.
Very important station.
Yep.
And it's brand new.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff made in the 90s in China is better than now.
It is. Absolutely
Yeah.
it is. And it's an unfortunate result of this rapid expansion, you know?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, you got to be realistic. And a lot of people aren't realistic when it comes to China. They're like, look at all these flashy lights and stuff. And I've got
At night.
Yeah, exactly. I got a perfect example of this. Early days. I was in China, and so this is about probably 2007 or something. They took this building in Huajianbei, which is this electronics district, okay? Mm-hmm. And they put a new facade on the outside. So it was an old building, but they put like this kind of metal facade around it, and then they put LED lights in it. And it I thought it was amazing, right? They put the LED lights, and then they'd kind of have like silhouettes dancing on the building and stuff. It looked so cool. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. It lasted a week before there were dead pixels. It stopped working, and eventually they shut it down. And then they actually tore the facade off a couple of years later. It's just, that's how it is. They put out a big show. It's fancy. It's something new and fresh and cool looking, but it never lasts in China. That's the problem. It never lasts.
No. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, moving on from that.
This is a big fire actually just happened.
Yeah.
This is in lit up here. This was a government transportation building.
Yeah.
Which was in Baoding, Hebei province. Mm-hmm. And it was a transportation government.
Also Hebei province. Isn't
Yeah,
that interesting? Near to Beijing.
Hebei stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of interesting things going down. But
Yeah, that Tangshan station, by the way, is that there's the Ximen and Dongmen. So there's the thing that was falling apart wasn't the front facade. That's what some people are confused. They're like, that's a different building. No, it's the same structure.
yeah,
the same
just
thing.
a different side of it.
There's different. How do you say Ximen? Like West Gate.
Westgate,
There's a West Gate, North Gate, East
yeah.
Gate.
Dongmen,
Yeah. I think
Ximen,
that was the
Leimen,
Ximen.
yeah, Nanmen. Nanmen Hao.
Can we
Hello,
move on?
hello, men. You know what I mean?
Can we move
Yeah,
on?
okay, all right, let's move on. So, the point
We're
of us,
not laughing at a burning building.
no, we're not. The reason we're showing you this stuff is these are disasters and things that are happening around China daily all over, but you'll never hear about them.
Yes.
Okay, and that's because the bad news isn't allowed to be reported. In fact, there was a very strange phenomenon because we tried to go on the equivalent of Google Street View in China's Baidu Street View, because Baidu's a big copy of Google, and you couldn't go to this place. It's all blanked out.
It wasn't blanked out. It's just you couldn't do it.
Yeah, you couldn't do it.
But I mean, it could be like a misload. There's many things that could happen. This whole area could be government buildings, so you don't have street view. That often happens.
It's just kind of strange.
And maybe it was a glitch. Who knows?
Well, I mean, remember what happened when they had that bridge?
Yeah,
man?
that was blocked out too.
They blocked
That was actually blocked though.
you couldn't go, and remember people posted
Yeah, they're
photos.
all
You couldn't
removed.
have photos. You couldn't search it even.
Yeah, that's not what was happening here. But
No.
I just couldn't see it from
Yeah.
the street thing.
Anyway,
It
just,
wouldn't load. It just didn't.
just pointing that out.
Yeah. You get the idea.
So, for those of you who don't know, we actually have a Monday show.
We do.
It's a VIP show, and we wanted to
amazing.
show you. Yeah, we wanted to show you what you missed. So let's. You didn't miss this burning building because you're seeing it here.
Yes.
But yeah,
The original name for ping pong.
whiff waff. Whiff waff. Oh, fancy a spot of whiff waff, old chap. Chinese water torture is not Chinese.
Interesting, isn't it? Are you married? Do you have children? Do you have a car? Do you have a house? How much money do you make every month? Why are you so fat? Why is your nose so big?
The first thing she says to me is, ni pang le hao duo. It's like, oh, you got really fat. That's the first thing she says to me. And apparently, there was a massive explosion, and he disappeared. And so they think that he flew to the moon because they named one of the craters on the moon after this guy.
Oh,
So
charming.
I think in reality what happened is he just vaporized. Yeah, so that was our Shaban Ho. If you'd like to join us and you have the means, please head on over to patreon.com/ADV podcasts and join the Shaban Ho tier.
I should probably tell you what that episode is about.
Yeah, what was
It
it
was about
about?
stuff that what you might think was invented in China or from China, but isn't, and then stuff that you might not realize is from China and actually is.
Yes,
very interesting
there's
stuff.
a lot of misconceptions in China. People
Yeah.
think a lot of things were invented in China that weren't.
Yes, and a lot of
Like
people.
corn.
Yes, and I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about the band.
No,
I'm not talking about
not the KO.
playing your bass down here.
Yeah.
All the way down.
Yep.
Drop D tuning.
Not that one.
But there's also things that you might not realize were actually from China, which we covered
Yeah.
as well. And I would say it's an overly fun, positive episode. Very great time. Very funny episode. And again, every Monday, whole different show. We're actually coming up on our 100th episode celebration on patreon.com/ADVpodcasts.
Yep.
And if you go there, you're going to be there for our live show for our 100th celebration, which will be in costume.
Yes.
And we will be telling some tales from the past.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
It's the whole audience voted on it. And the reason I bring that up is because that show is fully democratic. You guys vote on every topic that we do. We have polls, we have Q&As, we have all kinds of democratic elements within the show.
Yeah.
It's the most fun you can have during the week, well, at least for us.
Yeah.
So go to patreon.com/ADVpodcast. Not only is it the best way to support us, you get a whole backlog of 100 episodes we've done so far, and then everything going forward.
Correct. Yeah. Awesome stuff. So let's move on now to Worldview, where we talk about everything in the world, specifically with regards to China. And today we're going to start out with some money thing that you've put up here.
Yes. So you guys often ask us about what's happening with China's economy.
Economy is such an awesome topic. It's very lively and lovely. And yeah, anyway, let's get on with it, shall we? What? You guys want to hear economic news?
I can end this.
Finance?
You're literally disparaging our audience.
No, not at all.
Yes.
I'm just asking.
I came up with
it's
this?
a genuine question.
I listen to the audience who
Okay.
very much often asks about economic news.
Okay,
In fact,
so-
I will start a democratic poll.
Yes.
Are
please.
you interested in China's economy? Yes or
Oh,
no?
I mean, that's a bit broad. You should just say
no,
economy.
absolutely not.
All right.
Are you interested in China's economy? That's
Okay,
all I'm talking
sure.
about. What else would I be talking about? Sri Lanka's economy?
No, but it says economy.
What does it say? Read it, please.
Okay. China's quest to turn the yuan into a global currency isn't actually driven by domination. It's about sanctions.
Correct. Just looking at the poll here, we're already at 85% of people
Okay,
yes
I
are
concede,
interested in China's economy.
I concede.
Quite literally, most of our audience.
It's fine. I concede. I guess like I'm just the only fun guy around here.
All right.
Let's get into those cents and dollars or whatever you want to say. Let's hit it. Let's do it. Can we have some stats? Let's make this sexy.
I'm putting this off now because I'm so offended by you.
You know, I'm just pulling your leg, so
and
let's
I'm
see what it is.
offended. I'm offended for our audience now.
Why?
Because clearly our audience is
I'm
very
just-
much interested in China's economy.
Of course they are. That's
Yes.
why they watch the show, and that's why like I feel like that poll's wrong. It should just be finance in general. Do you like finance in general?
That's not what we're talking about. We're trying to
That's
talk
what
about
I'm
China's
talking
economy.
about. What are you talking about?
China's economy.
Yeah, so let's have
That's
it.
what the poll is.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. So
I'm just not going to let that one go. People are very, very interested in this.
no, it's fine. I'm sure they are.
So the RMB, the yuan, China's currency
Mm-hmm.
is not used as a global currency, right? People trade
Of
in the
course
US
not.
dollar, right?
And try change yuan in a random country and find out.
It's getting easier now, but it's still not like bringing dollars around with you. But it's not I'm talking about tourism here. I'm talking about global reserves
Yes,
here, right?
yes.
So China needs to make people start using the RMB. And the reason is that if they invade Taiwan or they do something that's going to sanction them into oblivion like Russia, they need to make sure that other countries are using their RMB so they can actually bolster their economy. If people aren't using the RMB and then they get sanctioned, they have no money, right? They don't have an economy at that point. Remember, China relies on other countries buying their stuff all the time.
Yeah, I mean, look at North Korea, right? They constantly have to import US
Correct.
dollars and on the black market and
Yeah, and
stuff.
sell meth and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you have a situation where China needs all the rest of the world to buy their stuff. And if they're not allowed to because of sanctions, then they're done.
Yeah.
Right? It's absolutely toast. So what was being posited out there was that China just wants de-dollarization to happen. This idea that people stop using the dollar around the world and these other countries led by China, the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, will start using the BRICS currency, which is going to actually just be the RMB, let's be honest, the yuan. China is going to lead them into this new era where people don't rely on the US anymore. And that sounded romantic to people even that didn't even like China.
Yeah, a lot of these people do.
Oh, still people, like in our comments, we'll get a lot of ABP, like America bad at all costs, like Americans saying this.
Yeah.
And they don't even like these countries that they're talking about. They just want America to fail.
They just want de-dollarization, even though they don't realize how that would destroy their lives.
Poor.
Yeah, exactly. And they
Let's
wouldn't-
make my life
yeah,
worse.
let's make everything worse. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Problem is that China expected the world to start kind of I think they drank their own Kool-Aid because they put out all this positive economic news all the time and how the economy is always this and that, and the stock market's up, and the investors are hot and positive on the China's real estate market rebound, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And you put enough of that stuff out there, expecting people to actually follow suit, expecting to actually start trading in the RMB.
Yeah.
Problem is, it's not happened.
No.
Even amongst China's think tanks, like state-run think tanks here, have found that pretty much no one wants to use the RMB.
No.
Right. Here's a quote. China's strategies to develop an alternative financial system are defensive rather than offensive. This is Zoe Liu, which is a fellow for China Studies in the Council of Foreign Relations. Liu wrote that Beijing's goal was to minimize any impact of sweeping sanctions from the West in extreme geopolitical scenarios, such as a military conflict over Taiwan. And despite Beijing's determination to boost overseas use of China's currency, fresh survey findings indicate an unwillingness among trade partners to use the yuan. So even countries that are trading with China predominantly don't want to use their own currency.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
It remains the biggest obstacle to cross-border trade. About 47.7% of people, of these surveyed people, of these enterprises, said the lack of interest among trading partners to use the yuan was the main hindrance to its proliferation. Nobody wants to do it.
Of course not.
And that's a big problem. That's scaring the crap out of China, because that means it's rather a stranglehold on what they can do geopolitically. Yeah. China can't invade Taiwan if they get sanctioned into oblivion. China can't push its power around and start directly funding Russia's war machine.
Its entire economy would collapse if it was properly sanctioned. Correct. Because its entire economy right now anyway is based on exporting goods to the world.
Yes.
So they need that. And if they get sanctioned, they won't be able to do that.
Yes. So here's the issue. The be all and the end all of this is that in order for China to actually start being this global dominant power that it's trying to be, this global power that takes over other countries and land and actually projects militarily, it has to make sure that people are not using the dollar and using the RMB instead.
Maybe also don't have a mass murderer on your note.
That too.
A dictator.
I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah.
People that love money they're blinded by greed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's some good news if you're worried about China's overreach in the world.
No, this whole de-dollarization thing that you hear about, it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
Well,
honestly. And most economic experts agree with you.
Yeah.
It is a fantasy. I did a whole video on it. If you want to check out my channel, ADVChina, it's called BRICS is nonsense or something.
Yeah.
Something about BRICS.
And I agree with you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Seriously, BRICS is not what we came up with an acronym for it. I can't remember what it is.
It was something funny. We'll have to write it down next time we come up with it again.
Yeah. It was something.
It'll be slightly different
it was
every
apt.
time.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'll pull the poll. 1,600 votes. 81% of people are interested in China's economy. Good. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So China and North Korea. North Korea. This is a bit of geopolitics. North Korea is North Korea's only ally, right?
Yeah. Well, they are allies, but you know what? China treats them as their little lapdog or something.
Not even that. It's more like they're worried about what they're gonna do. You know what I mean?
Didn't Wen Jiabao or something say to some diplomat is they're kind of like our naughty cousin or something.
Something like that.
Something along those lines,
Yes, because they always misbehave.
Yeah, they always misbehave.
I mean, China misbehaves too, but they can't fully control North Korea, even though they control their entire economy.
And look, we've been on the border of North Korea, okay? And we didn't go to some freaking port of Dandong. Yeah, we actually went to a place that's not a tourist area that people don't go to.
No.
And it's kind of heartbreaking when you go down there because you see this stupid open secret where they've got signs in Korean and in Chinese on the Chinese side saying, do not harbor any refugees, don't feed them, don't clothe them, don't all this kind of nonsense. But then you also see the trucks lining up ready to just go over the border to break sanctions. They're not supposed to, right? You also see the North Koreans working in China, which they're not allowed to, but they're working there and they're making money to send back to North Korea. And of course, China's allowing this because it helps them. They get slave labor, basically.
Yep.
And it's all against what China's agreed to do. On the international stage, they're like, no, we will not hire North Koreans. We will not help their economy that way. We're not going to send them goods and stuff. But meanwhile, you go there and you just see it happening.
Yes.
It's a lie. China's lying as usual. They always do.
The problem is, ideologically, they're kind of on the same page, and they have to agree with each other, but they've been so North Korea's been so mouthy about this nuclear program that China actually had to be like, stop.
Yeah.
They actually had to join like South Korea and be like, stop.
Yeah, stop. Because, I mean, you don't want nukes going off on your doorstep.
No, and again, this hurts China if they get caught funding this regime, which they do, by the way.
They do fund it. We've seen it with our own eyes.
But overtly, like on like a huge stage, and they don't criticize their actions, then they're in big trouble, right? It says it's notable that North Korea criticized a joint statement that China had signed on to, even after Beijing helped water down the statement. So Beijing was like watering down their statement, and they still criticized China after that. So this is all about the nuclear program. China's like, can you please stop, right?
Yeah.
But what I thought was kind of interesting was I found this channel. There's this Indonesian guy that used to live in North Korea. He was like a diplomat.
Right.
He used to sneak footage.
Oh, interesting.
His name's Jaka Parker. So you can follow him if you want. He's got a lot of cool content. But this is interesting. This is not his. He posted the video on his channel, but it's not his. This is a propaganda film.
Okay.
And it just reminded me so much of China.
Okay.
So basically what happened was, I'll run you through this. In 2013, they built a water park in Pyongyang.
Right.
And again, North Koreans don't go to water parks. Like they're starving and it's horrible and there's no freedom anywhere, right?
Yes.
But they put on this big puff piece thing and they built this exorbitant, it actually looks not that great, but for North Korean standards, exorbitant water park. And apparently right after this was filmed, it like went into decay and it doesn't run anymore.
Of course not.
But it was such a big deal for them that they brought like dignitaries and diplomats from like countries all around the world. Imagine like you invite dignitaries from like Senegal or something.
To go to
or,
like Six Flags.
Venezuela to go to Six Flags. Not even that. Like this is way worse.
Yeah,
right? But something like I don't know, like Wolf Lodge or whatever. You know, this Great Wolf Lodge or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
And they all signed this thing with like pictures of the Kims and stuff. Yeah. And they're like North Korea 10,000 years.
Yeah, exactly. That's ridiculous.
But anyway, the funny thing is that in this propaganda film, everyone's having so much fun, right?
Yeah.
Apparently this was filmed when it was like 50 degrees Fahrenheit out. Because
what is that in like centigrade?
Like, I don't know, 8 or something.
So really cold.
Yeah, because apparently in some of the picture promos, you can see the security guards are wearing like fur jackets and stuff.
Oh, really?
So these people are like freezing. And this is like the grand opening. These international dignitaries for this.
Of course.
For a water park. It's wild.
They all look very enthusiastic, I must say.
But people started to pick up on things. They're like, well, number one, the people are freezing. Yeah. Number two, they're so happy, though, because this is the only time they're going to be able to do this.
Sure.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
They're all on the exercise equipment, but none of them have shoes on because this is all one shot. Yeah. They weren't like, go change. They're bowling.
Bowling,
they're still wet. Because this is all just for that shot. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Isn't that wild?
It's crazy.
I thought it was funny. It reminded me of China.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels there for sure.
For sure. It's definitely worse. But yeah, very cool channel. Definitely check out that channel.
I think bowling barefoot's a good idea, by the way. It seems like you get more grip. You have to.
No, because you have to slide.
Oh, you do? I know you get special bowling shoes.
Yeah, they slide.
Oh, is it for sliding?
That's the whole point.
Okay.
Because you need your momentum.
I suck at bowling, so I wouldn't know.
You've been bowling.
Yeah, but like when I was a kid. Once or twice.
Oh, okay.
I just thought it'd be better to get some grip.
I'm terrible. No, you don't want grip. It's you literally want to slide with the ball so your momentum so you can aim to the last second.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So it doesn't make sense what they're doing.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I think you'd ruin the like floor if you got it wet because it's wood.
Yeah, and well, that's just funny that they're like doing exercise stuff and they're still wet because they're like, hurry up and go to the next
go to the
room.
machine quickly. Go do that.
There was like a buffet too, and everyone's like, wow,
what is this food? I've never seen it before. Yeah. Anyway,
sorry, we're going way over.
Okay.
This is super quick. Former CIA officer pleads guilty to conspiracy to commit espionage. The DOJ reports in the thing. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
so
in
this
the
guy,
description.
He served for the CIA, and then I guess in like 2006 or something, flipped and started working for China.
Yeah.
So they agreed upon like a 10-year sentence, but he's already 71, so he'll be 80 something when he gets out.
Well, hey, you got to set an example.
Oh, I didn't say don't arrest him.
Like, he's old, don't.
No,
punish.
I'm saying by the time he gets out, he's kind of done. You're kind of like.
If he gets out.
If he gets out.
Yeah.
What, are you going to throw me the key? What, do you have access to this jail?
No.
Anyway, him and his brother.
Snitches, you know what I'm saying?
Him and his brother.
Yeah.
They were both CIA officers.
Okay.
And I guess they flipped in like the 2000s or something. And then they got surveilled, I guess, by monitored employment by the FBI in Honolulu in Hawaii. Eventually got caught. But I think the point of this is to show that even after that many years of servitude, right, that many years of being employed, China's still courting people. Like it's so, I'm not saying that like there's more temptation now, but I think there's more incentive for China recently in the past 20, 30 years to really just try and flip people.
Absolutely.
You know,
especially
they
people
bring
of
cash.
Chinese descent,
Yes.
because they always offer them
There's no language
incentives.
barrier.
Yeah, and they offer them incentives back in China. If they've got family there, they'll, we'll look after your family. Oh, we'll pay into an account in China that you can access and you can come to China. We'll set you up with a thing.
And another thing, and I think this is big, this is completely hypothetical. I have no idea if this is how it is, but a lot of what I've seen with the Chinese diaspora that is older, who are pretty against the CCP and fled China and stuff, will be like, they'll be courted by these people, or at least talked to by these people, and say things like, it's not the same China as it used to be. Things are so much better now. Like
now we're a powerful country.
Yes,
you know.
I talked to a woman that's very anti-CCP, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
an old lady. We're speaking in Chinese.
Yeah.
And she's very pro-human rights, very pro-democracy. She's proud to be American. She's great
Mm-hmm.
lady. But her attitude has changed, and that's simply because of the amount of media she consumes in Chinese now. Has all been bought up by the CCP.
Yeah.
And now it's the kind of the narrative is, oh, China's not as bad as it used to be. Now it's got more money, and it's not
It's
as
flashy. You see all the
flashy.
buildings.
Yeah,
you
it's
see all
not
the-
as it's not like what they say, right?
See
And
that propaganda facade, yeah.
That's a big problem.
Big time.
Yeah, and that's why China buys all the media.
Yeah, that's something that you might not be aware of. But, you know, a lot of newspapers and so on that you get in America are in Chinese. They're meant for the Chinese diaspora.
Yeah.
And the majority of them were set up by dissidents, people that fled the CCP during the crackdowns and, you know, the Tiananmen Square massacre and all that. They fled overseas. They started these media companies.
Yes.
And they established them. And if you go to like Asian supermarkets in and around American cities, they often have these free newspapers there, right?
Yes.
And it is for the Chinese diaspora, all in Chinese characters, run by Chinese peoples, for Chinese people. But the Chinese government was very clever and bought up all of these media organizations so that they could inject propaganda and pro-CCP sentiment into
big
these
issue.
newspapers. Yeah,
It's a big issue.
You know, you got these aunties and grandmas sitting in Chinatown reading these papers all the time.
And they were previously against the CCP.
Yeah, and suddenly, because now they're reading pro-CCP propaganda that because it's been bought by the Chinese government, they're changing their mind.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. It's also wild how people just get swept away by the media.
By the way, this is the photo. Props to the people that caught him, by the way, obviously. The photo that keeps going around on these news articles is like you literally can't see him.
Yeah, I know.
Like, why are you using this photo?
Yeah, maybe it's
so I had to Google other ones.
He's in the shadows, you know.
Yeah, I had to Google other ones.
He's a spy. He's a spook.
Yeah,
You know.
that's true.
So-
That's what glowies, the CIA agents are called. Right?
Yeah, call him a spook. Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yes.
Sorry, we'll rip through this real quick. OpenAI, you guys know OpenAI, ChatGPT, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Stuff we hate.
Yeah, that's what people used to like cheat on their essays or whatever.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
OpenAI, we've been calling this probably for 2 years now.
Yep.
We're like, they're absolute, like propaganda outlets, and
Yeah.
the Chinese government is absolutely positively using OpenAI and ChatGPT
Yes.
to do propaganda.
Correct.
And people are like, whatever, nah, you know.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, seriously. Remember that whole thing came out about spamiflage or whatever?
Yeah.
Their campaigns that they used AI to make videos for YouTube, which we still see now
All the time,
on
yeah.
YouTube. They shut down a bunch, but it's so successful that it superseded all of the real shills. Like they hire these like people from America or Canada or whatever to
exactly.
do
Yeah.
Chinese propaganda.
A lot of Canadians.
A lot of Canadians.
Yeah.
Huge proportion of
Yeah,
Canadians.
majority
It's only
Canadian.
30 million, you guys. I don't know why you're all doing CCP
Yeah,
propaganda,
exactly.
right? Like
half the
everyone in
population.
Canada. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
they do damage, right? They do a lot of anti-human rights,
And they just
pro-CCP
post
stuff.
misinformation and disinformation all the time.
Problem is, this spamiflage campaign, this AI content that was posted all over social media, especially on YouTube,
Yeah.
was hugely successful.
Yeah.
Right. So there was actually a thing that said like it was debatable on like how much damage they actually did with these tools, and I think that's to save their reputation.
Sure.
But we saw like them getting tons of views. In fact, in that one report, they were getting hundreds, millions, like tens of millions of views very
Correct.
quickly.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Way more than anything you see organically.
Sure.
Anyway, OpenAI caught a bunch of Russia, China, and Iran influence operations
Yes.
using their
So
tools.
they admitted that they-
Finally.
yeah.
Finally.
They will always, that whole thing about the Soviets used to say, you'll hang the capitalists with the rope they sell you. That's the same thing here.
Same thing.
China and Russia, specifically China, will use our own tools and our own technology against us.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, I won't say what, but a huge subset of people who consume media on certain platforms, I mean, a large percentage, and I'm not talking about 1%, I'm talking about maybe half or more of certain topics are coming from Russia and China on these topics about American politics, about everything that now that they've formulated an opinion on and shut out everything else, they're going straight in, honing in, and using these platforms and be like, we've converted like a massive chunk of the country now.
Yeah, it's all this. That's where you get this.
America back party, America back.
Quite literally a thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny. We've said this a million times, but when we saw people starting to fall in line with like Kremlin like propaganda, we're like, China's next.
Yep.
And all these people are like, no, there's no way I would ever support Chinese propaganda. They're all touting like these outlets that we've been tracking for years now. That are
Pushing all this-
reposting.
Reposting Chinese
Supporting
propaganda.
it,
Oh, look at their amazing new EVs. Oh, by the way, I just want to touch on that very quickly. There's this new propaganda about China's released a new EV. A lot of people are just calling it an EV that does 2,000 kilometers on a single charge. You're like, really? You look into it? No. Just if you do see that popping around, it's not true. It is a hybrid that does about 100 odd miles on a charge. And then it's got a very large gas tank for that type of small vehicle. And
You can put a gas tank on any battery powered thing. You get
exactly.
a lot of gas
And it
mileage.
gets good MPG. It's better than a Prius.
Yeah.
But, it's misleading. It makes people think, oh, you charge it and you could drive 2,000 kilometers. It's not true.
That's true.
You fill it up with a hell of a lot of gas and you can drive 2,000 kilometers.
That's true.
I could do that. I could put a big gas tank in my Trans Am and drive 2,000 kilometers.
We're going way over. Do you want to save this one or should we do it? It's pretty lengthy.
This is a pretty big story. I mean, do you want to just...
Oh, we'll just rip it. It's developing, so we'll just give you the run.
We'll give you the run.
So, University of Florida employee and students sent drugs and toxin that causes whooping cough to China in an elaborate smuggling scam. Really be all and end all. You can just play through these. There is a student in the Chinese Students and Scholars Association, which is just the rebrand of the Confucius Institute, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
And what they were doing was getting these students, this girl named Letitia, getting them to send these samples to China, which are banned, right?
And
it's like viral things, cholera samples, all this kind of stuff, right? Yeah. And they actually caught the guy, the ringleader. This is a huge case, and it's going to be way bigger than we're letting on.
Okay, so as long as you promise, we'll cover it next time.
As long as we'll cover it when the huge development happens.
Okay.
Because, and I'll tell you why. The ringleader just pled guilty.
Okay, yeah. Now, guys, something I would like everybody to pay attention to, please, our entire audience, anyone watching this. If you have a Chinese Students and Scholars Association on your campus, you need to know that they are tied directly to the Chinese government. Okay?
The embassy,
yeah. Well, do you think the embassy's not tied to the government?
Specific,
yeah,
so
exactly.
people know.
All right. So the Chinese embassy is heavily involved in these Chinese Students Scholars Associations. And you know what? They are a horrible tool that the Chinese government has in all the universities, well, not all of them, but most universities and many institutions around the country and around the world. And they use them to monitor other Chinese students. So if they're Chinese students that might be, I don't know, speaking about democracy or wanting to go and, do something with regards to Taiwan or Tibet, or just think outside the box or even criticize the Chinese government, the Chinese Students and Scholars Association are there to keep an eye on them, are there to intimidate them, are there to snitch on them back to the embassy, are there to go and report every single thing that's going on in that university to the embassy. So it's like having an embassy spies on your campus.
Yes. One thing I want to be to clarify, though, is that's not to say everyone in the Chinese Students and Scholars Association is bad.
No.
That's to say that they can mobilize the people that they have in there to do that job.
They have many times used members of the Chinese, just in this case, to go steal toxins to send back to China, for instance.
Yes.
Steal research, steal IP. I mean, think about it. Imagine having basically the government having its fingers in your campus. If you're doing some kind of sensitive research or whatever, they can get any one of those students. They can coerce them, threaten them, bribe them to do stuff.
Just so we can cap this off, I do want to remind you, and this is how we can bring this up again.
Yeah.
there's something we discovered that still is operating very prolifically and is very dangerous in regards to this. Remember I told you about that the other day. So we'll bring that up next time.
Okay, next time we'll bring that up. Okay, so just remember, if there's a Chinese Students and Scholars Association on your campus, keep an eye on their doings, you know? And if you're doing something sensitive and you tend to have a lot of people in that organization paying attention to you,
By the way,
be careful.
there's people of all ethnicities in this organization.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying anything about
No,
race.
this is not.
I'm
No,
talking about this
not about race. I'm talking
organization.
about like Chinese. Not even about nationality.
You get a lot of black dudes, black dudes that are in.
Yes.
They get sucked in because they're.
It's
it's
this
a cultural
organization.
thing. Come on,
Yes.
like learn how to make a paper lantern. It's like, by the way, you happen to have an uncle in the armed forces. You know what are his movements?
This is
Hypothetical.
Hypothetical. Not allegedly.
You know what I mean?
Hypothetically.
Hypothetical.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, let's
We
move
have
on.
a Q&A.
Yes. Oh, it's Q&A time, guys. Okay, so this is our Yamcha. This is our segment where we answer your questions. You question our answers. We leave it up on the weekend. We do it live. Monday, we cut it out of the show. So if you're not here with us now or watching on the weekend, we bid you farewell. Stay awesome, and we'll see you next time. But for the rest of us, it's Friday. Let's loosen the tie. Let's chat.